Hello, food fans. Going to have some Jimmy Dean croissants here with a breakfast that features two of these big breakfast sandwiches, and it contains sausage, egg, and cheese. Also, I will take a potato, clean it, and slice it, and that will become part of our breakfast. It's going to be a fried potato with the sandwiches and maybe some stories about Jimmy Dean, who owned this company. So, let's get started. I've sliced some potatoes and they are cooking to the degree of brownness that I like. You might like yours done a little less cooked. And flip the potatoes over and fry them on the other side for a little while. And I fixed everything according to the directions on the package, which is always the best advice because sometimes they have different recipes or instructions for different altitudes. This is a big sandwich for $1.50, and it's sausage and eggs and cheese. And it is very tasty. A pretty good sized sandwich, especially for $1.50. Good enough to take another bite. I've also got coffee, instant coffee, an off-brand, I'm not sure which brand it is, the cheapest powdered instant coffee. I'll take a slice of potato here. I bought the potatoes in a 5-pound bag, so the per pound per serving cost of the potatoes is very, very low. I'll tell you a little bit about the fellow who used to own Jimmy Dean Sausage Company. He started it. His name was Jimmy Dean. He was a country music singer. He did not have any big hits right away, but he kept making recordings. He had a nice personality. People liked him. Time for coffee. The coffee is good. And as I said, Jimmy Dean did not have instant stardom. He recorded some songs. They're pretty nice. And he probably would have been about the 50th or 60th most popular country artist for the first few years of his recording career. Then he was on an airplane going somewhere. This would be about 1961. He wrote a song on the airplane. But it was a coal mining song called Big Bad John. He recorded the song, it became #1, not just in country, but in pop music, easy listening, a lot of different fields of music. Big Bad John became a big hit. And Jimmy Dean became a star. He was asked to appear on many big TV shows. And he was not just a one-hit wonder. He had at least 3 good-sized hits. And that gave him some funds, some money that he invested in his sausage company. Jimmy Dean, the country music singer, became a businessman. He started up the Jimmy Dean Sausage Company, and the first advertisement you would see for his products talked about how his whole hog sausages, every part of the hog was used in making sausage. They did not sell ham or bacon. Everything went into the sausage. He did pretty well with the sausage company, and his career continued until he passed away at age 81. In addition to singing and having his own TV program, he did some acting in a James Bond movie. He was hard to tell if he's supposed to be the villain or the good guy, but he did a good job acting. I don't remember which James Bond movie it was. I don't remember which title. But it filmed in Las Vegas. And Jimmy Dean, as I said, had more than one hit. Big Bad John was a big hit. Later he recorded Cajun Queen, which was more or less a continuation of the story of Big Bad John, Time for Coffee. But let's talk about another one of his recordings that became a big hit. He recorded a song called PT 109. PT stood for Patrol Torpedo Boat. PT 109 was the name of the song. There also was a movie made. I don't think the song was in the movie, it was separate. But PT 109 was a great story. It became a great song. I'll tell you that back in the early 1960s, people who ran for the presidency of the United States almost always had a military segment to their life. That's a good sandwich. And the person who won the Democrat Party's nomination for the presidency in 1960 was a fellow named John Fitzgerald Kennedy. I happened to see him. I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and I walked by the Biltmore Hotel quite often, going to and from work each day. And one day as I was walking past the Biltmore Hotel, this was 1960, the Democrat Party was holding its nominating convention in Los Angeles. And so I saw Stuart Symington at one time. He was supposed to be the nominee, but that didn't happen. I saw other people. I think I saw Hubert Humphrey there at that convention. I didn't go into the convention. It was held at the Biltmore Hotel, but I would walk past and I would see these people coming and going. And one of the people I happened to see, as I was walking down the sidewalk past the Biltmore Hotel, the car pulled up to the curb to my right, and a man was standing up in the back. It was a convertible, and as the car stopped, the man jumped over, not using the door of the car. He just jumped over the side of the car, landed on his feet, and walked past me. And that was John Fitzgerald Kennedy. But the PT-109, for anyone who does not know that story, that is a wonderful story. I recommend that you read the full account if you're not familiar with it. World War II, John Fitzgerald Kennedy was the commander of PT-109. And John Fitzgerald Kennedy and his crew were suddenly adrift in the water. The Japanese, I believe it was a destroyer, smashed into his patrol boat, his patrol torpedo boat, and destroyed it. And John Kennedy managed to save the lives of all of his crew, including, there was one man who was badly injured who could not swim, and John Kennedy used the life preserver that was on the man who was injured, and he took a strap from the life preserver and held it in his mouth while he was swimming about 5 miles to an unoccupied island. It's best you read the story, because this is going to be a short video, and if you want to know the caliber of people that we had as presidential candidates, that would make a good reading session. We had people who were in every branch of service who ran for presidency and who had military records that were phenomenal. Read Harry Truman's Wikipedia. You probably have a lot about his military experiences there in World War I. Read Richard Nixon's wiki page. And it was said about Richard Nixon sent back to the United States, he sent all the money that he received when he was in service, he put it to the bank, and he used it to run for Congress when he got back from serving in the Pacific. And Richard Nixon apparently was a fellow who did a lot of things that helped advance the unit he was with, but they had a rule, according to what I've heard: if you want something, get Richard Nixon to get it. but don't ask him how he got it. And Richard Nixon used his winnings from playing poker to save up enough money to run for Congress. You used to have amazing people who got into politics and were people that it would be easy to use as role models. But read the story of the PT-109 and remember the song was written by the fellow who started up Jimmy Dean Sausage Company. He sold the sausage company for $80 million. Unfortunately, he passed away at age 81. My favorite Jimmy Dean recording is I Won't Go Hunting With You, Jake, But I'll Go Chasing Women, written by Stuart Hamblin. I got to do one show with Stuart Hamblin. And there's an example of songs that used to be released where you'd have a hit song on one side and an unknown song on the other. But the fellow who wrote the flip side of Big Bad John, even though his song didn't get any great airplay, he got one cent as writer, 1 cent as publisher on every record that was sold. And it sold millions, because each time they'd sell a copy of side A, side B went along with it. The sausage croissant is very good. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for listening to my stories. Do something you enjoy this week. And I thank you very much for watching.